We are go for liftoff.
Yo. Welcome to an episode of Toke Talks, the sports podcast for the everyday fan. I'm your moderator, Chino. We're your host, Felix.
Hey.
And co-host, Dustin.
Yes, sir.
Shout outs, Mr. Nice, our producer.
Mr. Nice.
Joining us this week for Liftoff, we have Kenny Dykes, a.k.a. the Drunken Dogo. Mr. Dolphins fan. We'll get to that in a second. We also got Mr. E.T. phone home this week. He comes in peace. Shout out Elliot. We're going into week 3 of the NFL season. And it looks like the quarterback position is shaking things up with a bunch of flops and a bunch of injuries. Felix, what do you think? Which team are you most worried about now with all this going on?
I really wanted to say like the Saints or something like that. But I'm digging Teddy Bridgewater being in there as a mock quarterback for a little while. But the team I'm most worried about is the Giants.
Oh, you got it. That's the true, what is that called? Epiphany of a Giants fan, huh?
Yeah.
We just realized that's what happens.
I will be at the game this Sunday. I will be watching Daniel Jones make his debut. But I'm telling you right now, I'm scared for the season because he hasn't played against a real defense. All the defenses he's played against in the preseason have been the B team and like people that are trying to get a spot on the team. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not really people that he's going to be seeing right now, the caliber of player now. So I'm going to go ahead and just predict he's probably going to throw like 2 interceptions minimum to start the game. And then he'll probably do something to like take them completely out the game in the third quarter. I would have said if Eli Manning was a starting quarterback, if you would have asked me last week, Dustin, I would have told you the Giants will find a way, find something to win. Saquon will do something. I don't think it's enough anymore. Let me tell you, I hope it's the complete opposite. I hope Daniel Jones throws touchdowns all over everyone, and I get to like see the debut
that
of
first
our new
round pick
quarterback.
isn't gonna live up to it. You think?
I really hope he's going to, and it'd be awesome to be able to see it with my own eyes. Because think about quarterbacks that have taken over for people that have won Super Bowls.
No, yeah.
Like Aaron Rodgers taking over. That was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
It was.
That
Tom
made his
Brady
career.
taking over for Drew Bledsoe. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Even Tony Romo taking over for Drew Bledsoe was a big moment. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this does have the opportunity to shape itself up to be like an awesome experience as a Giants fan.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you, I'm not confident going into this week.
Yeah.
Who
Wait,
would
hold
you
on. Before you get to Dustin, you keep saying you're going to see it live, but what time's the game at? Are we going to be able to see it live through our page?
Of course. We'll be on the page. The game starts at 4. So you figure, let's go live at 5 o'clock.
We'll go around the end of the first. Hopefully we catch that
definitely
first
tuning
Daniel
into
Jones
that.
touchdown.
Or that first Daniel Jones interception.
You
but
never know.
You'll be able to see it firsthand.
Yes, but just to touch on your Giants point, I would agree with you completely. As far as Daniel Jones go, it usually does take about a couple years for a quarterback to truly develop. At least 2, usually about 3. I mean, Peyton Manning threw the most picks his rookie season in the league, so if he can do it, anybody can. But for me, I think it's an obvious one. I think it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for one reason and one reason only, they actually had expectations going into the season. The teams that you just touched on, the Giants weren't expecting to do much. I think we could all agree on that.
Yep.
They
The
weren't getting
Saints
out of this piece.
are definitely expected to do a lot, but I agree with you on them. I think because of their division with Cam Newton not being 100% healthy with his shoulder and his foot injury, you got obviously Matt Ryan not looking as well as he has in years past, and we got Jameis Interception Winston playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That might be probably the only division this year in the NFL that you could lose 7 games and still make the playoffs.
Playoffs. Yeah.
See, for me, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers because, like I said, they had expectations. Now they're 0-2, so a lot of people were kind of down on them to begin with. I mean, they're probably going to lose that game even if Ben Roethlisberger finishes that game.
Yeah.
I thought Seattle was going to win either way. And I'm going to touch on something really briefly that I don't think nobody's bringing up. The head coach, Mike Tomlin, I think he deserves to be on the hot seat. And I want to preface my comments with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
As obviously Mike Tomlin is a great NFL head coach. There's no disputing that whatsoever. But what is Mike Tomlin known for? He's a defensive coach. And I cannot think of the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers have had a good defense. And we were talking about it before the show started. They have about 9 first-round picks on their defense. Now, that's a great stat to have, only if they're playing well.
If they're performing, I mean,
if you have 9 first-round draft picks on your defense that are starting, and you're not a top 10 defense, I'm sorry, man. I'm looking at you, though. Now, like I said, Mike Tomlin's a great head coach. He's got a 64% winning percentage. He's 194 to 125 as far as wins and losses goes. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
He's only missed the playoffs 4 times in his 13-year career with the Steelers.
And he has rings to show. Like, at the end of the day, people want rings.
He has 1 ring.
Oh, I'm sorry, he has a ring to show.
He has a ring, and that's great. But like I said, if you're a defensive coach, now it would be completely different if he was an offensive guy. And all these years, they've been top 3 as far as offensive stats go with Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. But he's a defensive guy. That's supposed to be his bread and butter. And they haven't had a good defense, as far as I can think of, since Troy Polamalu.
With you saying that, the only person that keeps, like, screaming into my head right now is Rex Ryan. He's literally how Rex Ryan was towards the end of his career. Rex Ryan was another defensive-minded coach. The Ryans are known for their defense. The dad is, the brother is, everybody respects them.
Yeah.
But at a point, a defensive coach, if he's not, like you said, producing on the defensive side, what are you there for?
Exactly.
You're the head coach. You're running the offensive side, which isn't going to be great for you because you're not an offensive coach, and they're not even doing their job there.
Now, look, what I just said, you don't just wake up tomorrow and fire Mike Tomlin. That's not how it works. You only fire a coach that's as great as Mike Tomlin is if you have a replacement that's as good or even better than Mike Tomlin. But when your bread and butter is defense, and we haven't had a good defensive team, and I have over 8 first-round draft picks on the defensive side of the football, there's some serious question marks there, man. And I know that's tied to the general manager as well, but you cannot tell me Mike Tomlin's not sitting in those rooms as a defensive head coach when they're picking those defensive players. There is no way he doesn't have a say in that. So that's my biggest issue with the Steelers, because I think with Big Ben going down, this might all unravel and turn really ugly as far as GM and head coach go, because there might be a lot of finger pointing, especially if Mason Rudolph doesn't perform as well as
people think he will. Connor. Isn't Connor going out for a couple weeks?
James Conner got hurt as well. And I actually like Mason Rudolph. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong, because at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers still have one of the best offensive line
and I think
in the league.
That's one of the reasons why I will strongly disagree with you. I'm putting myself inside of that GM's head. The first 2 games, like you said, I think what people are failing to take into account, they have a rough schedule to start the season.
Absolutely.
You start the season against the defending champions.
Yep.
They whoop your ass. I'm not saying that they put up a fight or they look like a good team, by no means.
Yep.
But if you're sitting there as the GM, you expected them to lose against the Patriots if you're being realistic.
Yeah.
Or if you're being Vegas even, we'll even say the odds makers. You're already predicted to lose. Then you play against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are no pushover.
No.
We know that.
Not when they got solid. 3 playing quarterback.
Not to mention that they got Clowney just handed to them on their lap.
Yeah.
Like, that defense is going to speak too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so worried about them. Or, I'm sorry. Them, maybe. Tomlin, not so much. Because at the end of the day, like, those are 2 games you already expected to lose.
Yeah.
If you go out there and give me an 8-8 season, now we're talking about you getting fired. Not even you in the hot seat. So I could kind of agree with you. But my hot seat would be like, I know they're not going to say this on TV, but I would call it a low-key hot seat.
Yeah.
Like, low-key, you're on the hot seat, but we're never going to make that publicly known because, I mean, you were supposed to lose these games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you said, even if Big Ben was in the game, you still don't have them winning that game, right?
No, I don't.
So I don't think that has to do with him.
But see, that's exactly what I was going to say, though. Like, I would have been worried if Big Ben was playing that game they were on too. I still would have been worried about their entire season.
Yeah.
But I'm looking past that. If Mike Tomlin, man, this might be his biggest year of coaching under his career with Big Ben going down.
Yeah.
He needs to prove to Pittsburgh and that entire organization, because look, here's another good point for you. He won with the quarterback that was handed to him. Let's not forget, Mike Tomlin has not won a Super Bowl with his own team. Bill Cowher handed Mike Tomlin that team with Big Ben as already the starting quarterback. So Mike Tomlin has never had to actually draft, develop, and then start a quarterback. He's never proven he can do that. And now he's got Mason Rudolph with a year-long job interview. So this is big for him, man.
Yeah, but I think
this is a really big year for Mike Tomlin.
I think that also has to do with, like you said, when he got handed the team, the Steelers were known for defense.
Exactly.
All these teams that used to win championships in that era especially were teams that were geared towards the defense is going to get you the ball over and over and over again. Just don't lose the game.
So why have they gotten worse at defense since he's been a head coach?
Maybe we become victims of the defenses being so good that some of these quarterbacks are getting overrated. Maybe we're looking at Big Ben like, oh my God, he's always in the lead for passing yards and all this. Yeah, no shit. You're handed the ball over and over again while Russell Wilson is over here getting the ball 3 times a game and still making more work than he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Steelers defense has just reached cruising altitude is what it is, you know? I mean, I think they need a little refuel.
That Fitzpatrick is a lot of refuel.
Fitzpatrick is a lot of refuel.
That's a good trade for him, but a first round pick.
I mean, like you said, they already have so many first-round picks out there. You've already seen this safety.
Yeah.
You've already seen that he can hang with the actual NFL players. So I'll take the chance on him instead of the pick that I'm going to make next year.
And especially with how the rest of the division's looking, man, Lamar Jackson is proven
he's
everybody, including myself, wrong. I got on this show a few weeks ago and said that man got exposed last year in the playoffs. He only had 50 yards passing through 3 quarters in the playoff game. And I came here on this show, I said, you cannot win football games that way. And this dude is just out here throwing darts left and right, man.
Not to mention that I feel like he got the perfect counterpart in Hollywood Brown.
Oh, yeah, he's balling.
Not only that, they kind of look like they're, like, not to be racist, I'm not trying to be like, oh, all black people look alike or anything like that. But they kind of look like they're, like, family members or they've known each other for a hot minute.
They have known each other for a while.
Well, it shows.
Yeah, they have him and the Lamar Jackson, like, knew Antonio Brown and Hollywood Brown before.
I saw a video that Lamar Jackson posted on his Instagram. It was either Lamar Jackson or Hollywood. And they were literally chilling in, like, their badass car, like, jamming out to music.
Yeah, no, they knew each other, I'm pretty sure, like, during high school, maybe even before that.
And that's big, because when you look at other quarterbacks in the league and, like, their connections with that one receiver, like, when you think about Brady and Gronk, if Brady were to, like, legitimately hit up Gronk and, like, beg for him to come back, they're boys. He's coming back. Or Edelman or somebody like that, like, somebody that's close. I feel like with Baltimore and him being such a young player, he never really had a receiver on the team to connect like that. Who do you have last year? Who was the best receiver? Crabtree?
Probably.
Michael Crabtree probably was.
Who's already a seasoned veteran. Yeah. Who's a player that's going to be like, yo, let me take you under my wing. Let me show you how the NFL is. That's not what this guy is. Hollywood Brown is literally there like, yo, we're in the NFL together. We're both young. We're going to be with this team for a while. Let's get it popping.
See, but that's my point. Like, that division's only getting better. Obviously, the Browns are only going to get better. And the Bengals weren't looking that bad. Like, I know they still have Andy Dalton at quarterback, but they've been in games.
You know Andy Dalton's the number 2 passing leader in the NFL?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I did not know.
He's only behind Patrick Mahomes, the person that Kevin thinks isn't going to throw.
30 TDs.
No, but to wrap this up, honestly, because we're pretty much just talking about the Giants, Steelers, and the Saints here. Yeah. If I had to put them in order from who I'm worried about the most, it'd probably go Steelers, Saints, Giants.
Okay.
Only because Giants had absolutely no expectations. If Daniel Jones goes in there and has a terrible first 3 games, it won't be that big of a deal.
You're playing with house money at this point. You're playing with house money.
Because you know you're not playing for a Super Bowl. You're just seeing what you drafted. So for me, the Giants are just in a win-win situation. You win if he's good, and if he's terrible, then you know.
Yeah.
And for me, I would agree with what you're saying. I would just flip the Steelers and the Giants and put the Giants at the top. The only reason why I would stay the Steelers as well is because of the quarterback being gone, the running back being injured, and now Juju Smith isn't the second receiver.
Yeah, no.
The best cornerback isn't guarding Antonio Brown.
He doesn't look like a true number 1. He looks like a really, really good number 2, but not a Devontae Adams.
So I'll leave it at this. You don't have a number 1 quarterback. You don't have a number 1 running back. You don't have a number 1 receiver, and your defense is shaky.
Yep. And at the end of the day, who does that all fall on?
The
head coach and the general manager.
That's how it always works. They say it all the time. It's the worst position to be in because if you win, the team wins. But if you lose, the coach lost.
No, yeah.
And the Rudy family, the owners of the Steelers, they're extremely loyal. I believe they've only had like 3 head coaches since the 1960s. Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, and then somebody really old. I don't remember this.
And I'm telling you, when you win a Super Bowl, people look at you different.
Yeah.
Especially as a head coach.
Like I said, that wasn't his team that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know who wants the Super Bowl?
Who?
And he's requesting to leave 4-1?
Who?
My guy, Jalen Ramsey. Number 1 cornerback in the league.
Dustin, you think he's going to be Odell of the defensive side? Like the diva-ish and... I'm sorry, not Odell, because Odell's been quiet this year. I'll say Antonio
He
Brown.
had that nice catch though last game. I don't know.
Well,
if you saw
Odell.
it.
Odell's still
quiet,
been doing
like
stupid things.
off the field.
Yeah.
I mean, he wore like a watch
He
to a
don't care.
game.
He'll pay whatever.
I'm sure he'll pay whatever, but that's still distractions.
Distraction.
And then he came out talking about how Greg Williams was telling some of the Browns players in last year's preseason game against the Giants to hit Odell low and try to hurt him. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a lot of controversy behind that. And Greg Williams came out and said, "Odell who?"
Damn.
Yeah, so that's how that went. You can just imagine how Odell took that. But yeah, so he's definitely still talking. But Jalen Ramsey, man, he's a character, and I'm extremely happy that he demanded a trade from the Jaguars because I'm a diehard Colts fan, and that means I don't have to see him twice a year anymore once he's gone. So that's great for me because he's been tearing us up.
Yeah, I can't see them trading him to somebody in their division.
No, hell no.
No.
And the
Colts,
Colts,
he's so pissed at the team that
the culture that we're trying to build, he doesn't even fit our culture. No. Like our general manager wouldn't even sign Jalen.
I'm telling you now,
for him.
The Antonio Brown thing I think is scaring so many teams that they don't even want to deal with people that even have the least bit of controversy.
You think the Pats pick him up? They're surrounded by
the Pats will pick up anyone.
Hey man, that'd be dirty though.
Do you not agree with that? You guys will pick up anyone at this point? Like, not to win a championship, but I'm saying
just to pick him up.
Why
would you not want Jalen Ramsey on your team?
Because the system is bigger than the player in New England.
Huh?
The system is bigger than the player in New England.
And I think Ramsey, like he said, he wants to win, man. He's willing to give. I think Ramsey takes a pay cut to go get a ring.
Right now, according to CBS, the Chiefs, Eagles, and Seahawks are among early favorites to land.
How scary to see Ramsey on one side and the Honey Badger sitting on the other side with him.
Yeah.
And then when you get them off the field, you have to deal with Mahomes.
Yeah, if he goes to the Chiefs, that's a wrap.
I don't know if that's a wrap, but I think the Chiefs get that push over the Patriots.
I'll tell you what. I mean,
that's a better game.
Let me put it this way.
That's a good game.
Squeeze in the corner making faces.
If Jalen Ramsey goes to the Chiefs, let's say they play the Patriots, right?
Mm-hmm. The Patriots have
What about Dorsett?
Yeah, I was about to say, the Patriots have way too many
Josh
players.
Gordon.
First of all, hold on. Don't
Julian
get me started
Edelman,
about Phil Dorsett.
Antonio Brown.
Any of their running backs.
Brady.
Julian Edelman.
Brady. You got to say it again.
Yeah. No one even said Brady to like the sixth name.
Gronk said, I don't know if you guys know who David Portnoy is. He's the president of Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
He does these funny ass pizza reviews.
Yeah, he's like one bite, everybody know the
Yeah,
rules.
you see the videos?
Yeah,
those shits are hilarious. He did one with Gronk, and he just kept fucking annoying him. I was like, Gronk, because he's a diehard Patriots fan. He's like, sorry, so week 12, 13, what we thinking, Gronk? I talk to me. You know, little Boston. That was terrible boxing, asked him, but he's like, and at the end of the video, he's like, all right, I'll be back week 15. I'll only play a couple games, get ready for the playoffs, boom. He's like, all right, we'll see you week 15. Now, obviously, he kind of said it jokingly, but...
that's what I touched on earlier. When you have an honest connection with the receiver, you will think about coming out of retirement for somebody like that.
Yeah, but we're digressing. Jalen Ramsey, I have a really bad feeling that the NFL is headed down a path that they don't want to go down, and it's called the NBA. The NBA path where the superstars are making the rules and deciding where they want to go.
I'm making super teams.
Yeah, and making super teams. We were talking about this before we went live. Jamal Adams, after the New York Jets and Cleveland Browns game, unfollowed the Jets on Twitter, took the Jets out of his bio. So he might be. I mean, obviously that's just speculation. You make of that however you want to make of it, but that could be something as well.
I'm just so tired of the social media era.
Exactly. This would never be happening.
Where you literally unfollow the Jets
and it's
team
news.
And everybody's posting and tweeting.
Is it not news though?
It is.
It is.
But it's only
news.
But I feel like it's only news because of how zoned in we are on all these people.
Exactly. But the reason I brought up Jamal Adams is I bet you now. I could just be talking out of my ass here, but I bet you Jamal Adams doesn't do that if Jalen Ramsey doesn't demand a trade because he knows Jalen is going to take all the headlines and Jamal can just do something real subtle like that while everybody's talking about Jalen, maybe thinking not a lot of people would notice or something, but I think, I think it's going to start a very bad trend.
We are going for liftoff.